Hi there, I am Michael E. Thomas Jr., and I am the founding minister to New Millennium Faith Church and Foresight Ministries International. I'm also a co executor to one of our outreach ministries here in Loves Park, Illinois, called Project One Giant Step. And one of our first projects is we help kindergarten through sixth graders who are homeless with blessing bags, school supplies, and clothes, and just help them as much as we can 3 times a year throughout the school semester. And I use my full name, Michael E. Thomas Jr., because I've learned that there are a lot of folks that carry the same name as Michael Thomas. So here in Northern Illinois, where I'm from, Loves Park, a graduate of Harlem High School, a class of 1990. I'm using my full name. I've been using my full name for a little over 2 decades. Just a distinction between me and others who are also called Michael Thomas. So I am, again, a minister, and I've been ministering and founding of this church, and been blessed to oversee 12 countries. It's really kind of cool. And I'm like behind me, um, you know, some of my mentors. Right there, that gentleman up there in the corner, that is Henry. He is like a surrogate father. He's no longer here with us anymore, but I looked up to him. He helped me as a spiritual dad, and then he's down here as well. This is a gentleman on Thanksgiving Day. Is an interesting story about that gentleman right there on Thanksgiving Day. The testimony that he gave me. And over here is another friend of mine, Apostle Tim Smith, another good guy from Rensselaer, Indiana, who I truly look up to. And up there is a gentleman from Germany, Paul Fricke, and he is no longer here as well. Like all my mentors are up in heaven. But I'm here in my office and wanted to make sure that I share a little bit about who I am and why I am submitting for an opportunity to be on Titan. I watched this show last year, and the competitive nature of who I am, this show struck me to my core. And one of my goals with everything I do in ministry, when I'm not being a full time minister, I'm also riding road bikes for a living. Whatever you want to call me, a semi pro or an amateur, more of an amateur, but I've done 3 century rides thus far, and I am 47 years of age. August 28th was as my birthday, and I just rode 45 miles on my birthday after a long season off. And my story is kind of unique because I want to be the first minister to win the Titan Games. And that is what I told myself when I watched the first audition, when I watched the trailers and found out that Dwayne was doing this type of a show. I said to my wife and a couple of friends of mine, I want to win this show. I want to win this so bad. I want to be the first minister. And now that I'm 47, I want to be the first 47-year-old minister to win this show in the second season. And when I auditioned for this show, I had just come off of a year ago, June 14th, I had my first surgical procedure. I call myself an achalasia survivor. My esophagus shut down along with my sphincter muscle. And I want to show you this. They had a feeding tube in me, and I was watching this show in recovery, and it was really amazing to see athletes and, well, normal men and women get on the show and then just wreck shop. And I kept telling myself as I was in recovery, I want to be on the show really, really bad. I want to prove to myself that I still have what it takes to not only condition, to perform at a high level, to get through the mental preparation, to get through the physical and emotional preparation, to do something of this nature. And I remember when I was in Northwestern going through this, I just was hoping that I could be recovered. And when I sent my submission in for the first time, and I didn't hear anything back, and I was like, okay, well, obviously I'm going through something. I couldn't do it. So achalasia is a disorder where your sphincter muscle to your stomach shuts. And for me, my esophagus just became a tube. So I spent 8.5 months not able to eat food, swallow food. I could eat food just fine, but I wasn't able to swallow the food into my stomach. It would come right back up. So I would have days on top of days, puking 3 times a day, waking up middle of the night just vomiting. I couldn't keep food down. It would just get stuck. Even with liquids, everything would just come up. And I remember January 31st of 2018, after a meeting, I had a hard time breathing, and the pain. I thought I was having a heart attack, but what it was my esophagus was spasming, and it was rubbing against my heart wall, and it was rubbing against my heart, and that was causing just serious pain. And that night, I was rushed on my wife's birthday, rushed to OSF here in our neighboring city. And from OSF, my doctors got involved, really got involved. The staff there really took care of me, and my surgeon, who's at Northwestern in Chicago, once I got there, I kind of went downhill with everything that was going on. Like my body was shutting down. I couldn't understand it. They were telling me, you're a young guy, you're healthy, you're in shape, and this normally happens to the elderly population in their later stages and whatnot. So I went through that, and I really missed out on. I didn't get the bike as much because I would put in 20 miles a night on the bike, and that was my exercise. That was my way of just getting away from work and getting peace and just being with myself and strengthening my mind and my spirit and my soul at the same time. So I'm looking for this picture, and I wanted to show you this too about my family. I am a father of a blended family of 6, 3 boys, 3 girls. And my wife, who's also a minister here at the church, she is Jill Thomas. And I guess I'll just show you this right now. So if you can see this right here, this is Jill and I golfing. So we like to go and tear up the greens, literally. We're not that good, but we have fun. So we go and enjoy ourselves. Anything sports related, I love it. I'm very, very competitive. So I also tell myself I can always run circles around 20-year-olds any day, anytime, anywhere. It's always on. I'm like Nike, I just do it. But this is me when I was in the hospital. There's the breathing tube. And shortly after this image was taken, my body rejected the feeding tube, not the breathing tube. This is the feeding tube. One was in my side, then the body rejected that one, and this one was the second rejection prior to the surgery that they took and repaired my sphincter, which they cut a part of my stomach muscle lining and put a flap so my sphincter would open up, and then they put a slit in my sphincter to release the grip, so it's open. So I'm able to eat better, and it's a good thing to swallow food. So I just gotta take my time when doing it. But here's me here at the church here. I'm actually in the office of my church as I'm saying. This is Jill and myself in one of our leadership meetings. And I'm kind of old school. This is Miss Jasmine and me, and I used to ride a rickshaw in Chicago. We lived in Chicago in Humboldt Park, and this is Jasmine and myself right before I would go to work downtown, and they used to call me Mr. Preacher Man, and I would have tourists, and we worked the Cub games, the Bulls games, any of the events. I'd be shuttling folks coming into Chicago and those going into Gold Coast on the rickshaw. It was quite fun. I love biking. I even made a trip from Wrigley Field to O'Hare, believe it or not, and dropped off passengers. These are my 2 boys, my Sri Lankan babies from my first marriage. Michael and Kamal, I've not seen these guys since January 1st of 1998. That's when the ex-wife left the country and took the boys from me, and I haven't seen them since. So my hope is one day God will return them. They are now adults, obviously. Um, so those are my three. And this little one is Miss Kira. This is us at a concert. We love music. We love good music. So we go to concerts from time to time. And this is Jill, myself, and Jill's youngest one, Kira. She's my adopted daughter. And this is us enjoying the concert. And let me see what else I got here real quick. The next one, our vacations. We call her Lima Bean or Juicy. That's her nickname. This is us. I like to. I'm a man of the dark. We like to be outside in the evening time. We just like to enjoy outdoors. That's Kira. Here's my two boys. This is Michael and Kamal now. They're older. I haven't talked to them since 1998, but they do have social media, and my daughter helps me out by showing me images of them. And I hope one day I can see Michael and Kamal. And this is one of our ministries that I truly love. Kira is the president of Project One Giant Step, and this is our volunteering and giving back to the community. And we're dropping off blessing bags and school supplies right here at one of the local high schools. And this is the day of community days. So 3 times a year we do community days, and this is at Lewis Lemon. This is Kira and I taking pictures before we drop off. I really like to be in the pictures because I just don't like being on all of our media. But for this, and this is Miss Kira and Jill at Lewis Lemon dropping off the blessing bags, as you can see right there. That's a little bit about me. I talked about Henry. I talked about Tim Smith, Walter Payton, Ayanla Van Zandt. These are individuals in my life that have poured into me, that I have just gleaned their wisdom and gleaned their knowledge. And it's kind of made me, as I take pieces and bits of those, of who I am today. And I would love to be on the Titan Games for many reasons. I would love to win the Titan Games. Being 47, I want to be the first minister to win the Titan Games and show that age is it's just a number. It's how you feel inside. I feel great inside. I'm energetic. And like I said, I'm extremely competitive, and I love to participate in activities that you have to just use high level of the mental, the high level of physicality, the quickness and the speed that was the Titan Games is about. And it's about producing deep down inside of you who you believe in and who you are. And Titan Games for me is simply a vehicle to show what I'm made of. And if I win the Titan Games, it will be to help extend how we give back here in Loves Park and Loves Park, Illinois, with Project One Giant Step and with our ministries, and to help with our schools that we're building. And part of that money we want to invest so that there's a future for our youngest one. And part of that money I want to sow into our ministries. And part of that money I would like to take my wife on a much needed vacation. And we like being in the mountains. We like being on the ocean. But we love the mountains more so. Just kind of get away from social media, get away from the world itself. But these are sort of things that I've been through. Some of the major obstacles that I've overcome. And this achalasia and the surgery was a heller-myotomy. I've never experienced anything like that. And the team of physicians, nurses who were at my bedside for the 8 months, in and out of the hospitals, just phenomenal. I couldn't ask for a better team of physicians. So that's what makes me special and unique because I'm an achalasia survivor, a former athlete who played semi-pro football, who played semi-pro baseball, who had tryouts with then the Montreal Expos here in our neighbor city of Rockford, Illinois, when it was the Rockford Expos. The first year of the Carolina Panthers, I had a tryout with them for agent tryout, but didn't make it. Played in the system of the Oakland Raiders in the early 90s. Loved it. And injuries or setbacks. I'm just a small guy. I'm 5'7" and a little under 200 pounds. So I've had the opportunities to play at the higher levels by sitting as a practice player. Nonetheless, I've had those opportunities, and the Titan Games for me is one way that I can prove that I still have it, and I believe I still have it. And I'm in a time in my life where I can actually get back and perform the way I used to perform before these health setbacks. But I'm excited. I hope you're excited, and I hope to be on the show for the Titan Games. Thank you for your time.